but you'll just get fined. But I don't know. I just didn't see the point of it. I don't know. Like you said, there wasn't really much of a fight into it.
Right, and that's what the city's banking on, is they know that it's going to cost you a lot of money in order to fight it. So,
yeah, tens of thousands of dollars. The lawyer said. He goes, it is in the Constitution say that, like I said, the towns and cities can regulate that type of thing. What you're seeing all around in other states that are happening is because cities aren't making people take down other political signs of the opposite position of the Trump ones.
right.
That's kind of what that is. And why people aren't taking them down. He goes, well, if they're not making them take, like, the Trump sucks. I showed him all those pictures. I went around and grabbed photos because they're not down yet.
Right.
But he says if they're not going to come down, then that's a lawsuit. And we have proof with that video right there. Is a lot of evidence that, hey, we admitted that we are targeting one house and we pick and choose.
Address you directly, but I would ask Jason that you, as the head of a Facebook group, a progressive Facebook group, and April as a very vocal person on Facebook, who are very, very liberal, to recuse yourselves from any discussions, any deliberations, any of that whatsoever. The rest of you, I'm not sure I don't see you being publicly outspoken, but as a mayor, my belief is that you should be not divisive or not political you should be very biased, and April, you as well. That being said, I understand that we all have freedom of speech. We all get to do and say what we want when we want, and trust me, I do. But that being said, you're our mayor, you're our city council member, and the two of you, I feel, and I would ask that you recuse yourself from any of those conversations because they are so politically charged. And I don't believe the two of you have the ability to be non-biased.
So I'm going to address that question, first of all, or comment. I'm not going to recuse myself. I am a strong, I'm not going to recuse myself. I am a very strong believer in the First Amendment.
Yep.
And I believe in freedom of speech.
Mm-hmm.
And I also know that Oregon allows a sign code. And when you balance those two things out, the situation is you cannot legislate based on content. So, and I will not legislate based on content.
You are, because you're not keeping up with the sign code. If the city of Silverton, if it does keep up with sign code, I wouldn't be here saying a thing, but you don't. City of Silverton picks and chooses their battles. Would you like me to share with you?
No, because I don't deny your statement.
Okay.
Because what I'm saying is
Jason, that's horrible.
No. What I'm saying is we have a citizen-reported system.
I know. It's
right.
Complaint-driven.
So the complaint-driven either needs to go away or the sign code needs to go away.
Did you know he took his banners down at one point, enforced by the city?
I did not.
Yeah.
I knew they were down, but I'm not sure why.
Yeah, so the city forced him to take it down. He complied. And then it was based on a complaint, and the city actually sent him another notice taking him down as of now. So April 18th, they have to be down.
What date?
April 18th. So coming back to the city,
mm-hmm.
Were you aware of like the regulations that were laid out in the letter?
Oh yeah. Was I aware of the codes?
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I got one right here back in July 20th of 2022. They sent this letter on my doors. I was at work, and they said, someone complained about your signage. Can you give me a call? So I called the guy. He left me a voicemail too and said, hey, like city code, you can't have banners up. I said, oh, okay. I didn't know at the time. I didn't know there was a ban code. Honestly, I thought if it's your property, you do what you want with it. I grew up in the country. We do whatever we want out there. Came down here. I know there's some rules, obviously, and he goes, your flags are okay. You can have those up. And I was like, okay, fine, that's fine. So I took them down. I complied to them. And a few months later, I was like, you know what? Someone complained about mine. I'm going to go complain about somebody else's. And I asked him, I said, hey, like, there's this house up here. They're not complying to your signage, and I'd like to make a complaint. And he says, oh, that's fine. They can do that now. I was like, well, it hasn't been, because there's a code to where you can have your political signs up. It's from September this, so I think it's like 30 some days. And he goes, oh, well, they can do, that's fine now. The Supreme Court passed a law, and actually 2 liberal justices voted with it and said it's cities and towns can't regulate signage. I was like, really? I was like, when did that come to be? And he goes, oh, just not too long ago, like a few months ago. And I said, oh, well, then why did they make me take mine down? And he's new. I'll give him that. And he said, well, you can put them up now. Like, you're fine. I said, oh, okay, but is there a size? Does that matter? Like, there's no regulations against it. And he goes, just read into it. Like, he started getting offensive. He's telling me I was asking too many questions. I just said, sorry, I'm just confused of why mine had to come down. Like, did this just start being a thing? Like, when did this, I get when they pass something, it takes time to take, full effect. He didn't have the answers. I didn't expect him to, but he took it more as in like, just do your thing, go away.
Yeah.
And so I did. And then come to be March 19th, I get another warning saying that they must be down by, I don't even read the date because I'm not taking them down.
The 18th, April 18th.
The 18th, yeah, April 18th.
The Founding Fathers, and if you read their writings, you might want to look at it because you're interested in this. They really thought that the First Amendment, the freedom of the press and freedom of speech, was the most important thing. They really thought, if you read their writings, the Founding Fathers thought that freedom of the press, the First Amendment, was even more important than the government, because it was important that people got a chance to be heard and hear what was happening and all the rest. So there is a very broad berth for the press to be able to speak freely and for people to exchange their views and the like.